Hello, and welcome back to a new week of meals. As quickly as I did that intro, I really wanted to get this dinner done and on the table. Leftover vodka sauce. We're doing naan pizzas here with naan bread from Aldi. Colin wanted cheese, and Rob and I are doing barbecue chicken pizza. So I just microwaved some chicken breast here that was seasoned with salt and pepper. This is Colin's cheese pizza done. Super fast, so easy. He actually really liked this. Topped his with a little bit of Parmesan cheese and oregano. And then here is our pizza. Rob, well, actually, this is Rob's pizza. He had his on naan, and just tossed some of that chicken in the sugar-free Stubbs barbecue sauce. I've got some red onions, some blue cheese crumbles, mozzarella cheese, and that was his. Kind of looks like a little animal here, but yeah, that was his. And then I did mine a crustless version in a bowl. Basically the same ingredients. My sauce, I mixed the sugar-free Stubbs barbecue sauce with some ranch dressing, served with a few cherry tomatoes on the vine, and that was our dinner. And then as a little bonus, this is my, no, it is not guacamole, this is my dessert. It is basically mashed up avocados with some monk fruit sweetener and some water and heavy cream. When I was growing up, my mom and my aunt used to make this. We used to crush ice, smash avocados served with condensed milk and sugar, and that was our little treat for the evening. Next evening, we are making a Mexican rice here. Starting off, I finely diced some onion. I did not end up using all of the onion. Excuse me, but this is what I'm using here. I'm just going to saute that in some olive oil to start. So tonight is actually a burrito night, so I'm basically just doing morning prep at making the Mexican rice here, or Spanish rice, whatever you want to call it. Adding some extra virgin olive oil, and this is 1 cup of uncooked dried basmati rice. I'm using basmati because that's what I had on hand, so you use whatever rice you have. And I'm just going to stir this around on the heat here. After a bit of time, the grains will become a little bit opaque. At that point, I'm going to add half a can of tomato sauce, so that's 4 ounces that I added. And then I'm adding some chicken bouillon mixed with water. So I like my ratio of rice to liquid to be 1 to 1 3/4. So that was about 1 1/4 cup of chicken bouillon with water. So that's just going to sit on the stove now to simmer. After about 20-ish or so minutes, the water will absorb and you'll get this rice. I like to do a little bit less water because I like it like fluffier. I don't like it to be too wet. So just double check the grains to make sure they are fully cooked, and that rice is pretty much ready to go, set aside for the evening. And now I'm going to assemble. This is Colin's burrito. Again, he's just super plain kid, so he likes just cheese, and we did the meat. So I cooked up some ground beef and added taco seasoning, very basic. You use what you like. So here's his ground beef here, and then I'm just going to top his with some rice, some of that Mexican rice that I made earlier, and a little bit of tapatio for spice. So the rice was nice and fluffy, really good flavor. You can also add maybe some cumin to that if you wanted a little bit more Mexican flavor. I guess you could call this maybe more of a Spanish rice, I don't know. You can add any toppings that you want. Avocados, tomatoes, olives, more onions. What else can you put? Cilantro, anything you like in your burrito, obviously. Now I was going to do a burrito for Rob as well, but he took a big ol' nap. And so I didn't get to film his. I warmed Colin's burrito up in the air fryer just to get the flour tortilla a bit warm, and you can see he just grabbed it. I did not have a chance to show you a cross section, but that was what was left. And then I did a tortilla-less version. I made a taco bowl, so I have a little bit of rice in there, and I added some avocado and some medium salsa. And I've also got sour cream and tomatoes. Next evening, we are having the world famous French onion chicken noodle casserole. Yes, yet again, Colin requested this. It's his absolute favorite, and he will definitely eat it. So, this is the abridged version. If you'd like to see more detailed step by step or like a tutorial on how to do this, I'll link them in the cards above, and then also down below. I will also link the original recipe so you have that information. But basically, this is the abridged version. I am just boiling up some egg noodle on the stove as well as boiling the chicken. I'm making the sauce here with just condensed chicken soup, French onion dip, a little bit of onion powder, and onion soup mix just to bump up that onion flavor. Give that a bit of a taste to make sure it's well seasoned. I am going to mix this with some noodles, so I wanted to make sure it's well seasoned, so I add a bit more salt. And then I'm going to separate a little bit of this for myself. Since I'm going to do a noodleless version, I wanted to keep mine low carb tonight, so just setting that aside and then adding sharp cheddar cheese to the guy's sauce here. And then I'm just going to stir that through, and it's ready to add the noodles. And there's Miss Capri off to the side. She just wants some too. She can smell the chicken. So into this now goes the cooked chicken that I just diced up. Again, I just cooked the chicken, boiled it on the stovetop. I am separating just a small portion again for myself. I'm using chicken breast here, and it turns out real nice and moist. Just boiled on the stove. Gonna mix that through, and then I'm going to add the last ingredient to this, which is the French fried onions. Okay, there you go, French fried onions in, mixed through, and that is ready for the baking dish. Now you can spray your baking dish if you'd like, just to make sure it doesn't stick, but I find that I don't really have any issues with that, so it's just going straight into the baking dish itself. There we go. We like to top with some extra French fried onions for a little bit more texture at the top. After serving, you can add more too if you like it even crunchier, just to have a little bit of a mixture of textures. And then that goes into the oven. And there you go. This is our no fail. I know Colin will eat dinner for the evening. That's what it looks like served up. It would normally be a little bit more saucy, but again, I took a portion of it for myself. So if you decide to do that, if you want a little bit more saucy, just make more. Just add more soup and French onion dip. But that is our dinner, and then I'll show you my noodle-less version. I've got veg with that. This would be really good with some green beans. I decided to go ahead and serve mine with some asparagus, which is what I had. So I added some sharp cheddar cheese to mine, melted it through, and made kind of like a little sauce for it. The chicken is seasoned with salt and pepper, and then we've got the asparagus with lemon. Next up, I am making, starting off with some Palak paneer here. So I have a huge over 2 pound block of paneer cheese that I picked up at the local Indian market. I am dividing this in half, and what I'm going to do is dice up just half of it for the Palak paneer. The Palak paneer, I've made this recipe before on the channel, so I'll go ahead and link that up above and then down below as well if you want to see that version of it. But it's a really good recipe. I got it here off of YouTube. And Palak paneer is basically kind of like an Indian creamed spinach, is I guess how I would describe it. So I'm just taking my paneer here and I'm chunking it up. You can do it more in cubes, but I kind of did mine like huge pats of butter, I guess you could say. So I'm just going through here and doing the entire half a block of that. Going to dice up the onion as well for the palak paneer. I'm finely dicing it. I wanted just it to kind of melt through and not have huge chunks of onion in it. So you can see I'm finely slicing at first. I have this really odd technique perhaps of using my finger to hold the slices together. But you'll see in just a second, I'll show you how thinly I like to slice them. You can see how thinly those are sliced, and then I'm just going to go in and finely, I guess, do cross sections in little slices so that they become nice and teeny tiny bits of onion. I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other half. This makes a lot of paneer. We still have some leftover actually, and it's still really good. But yeah, the longer it sits, you know, that the flavors and all the spices will come through even more. But yeah, it makes a lot. It makes a lot. So I've got some garlic here, gonna add that. And then after I finely mince the garlic, I'm also gonna just prep some of the tomatoes. I've got one tomato that I'm going to chunk up as well for the palak paneer. Palak paneer is one of our favorite things that we like to order when we take out Indian, and it just goes so well with all the other curries and just all those spices and everything. We like to order ours really mild just so it balances everything out. But yeah, we just love palak paneer so much, and that paneer is so delicious. A very mild, sort of bland cheese, but it picks up all of those flavors, and it's so nice. Do you guys have a favorite Indian dish that you like to order when you take out Indian? Or do you make Indian yourself? I would love to be able to know how to make all of these other just aromatic and just so tasty, the dishes that are so good. But here's that onion that's not an onion, that's a tomato. This is the Roma tomato that I'm just chunking up. And then I'm going to prep the spinach. I've got 2 pounds of spinach that I actually tossed in the freezer when I first got it so it wouldn't go bad, and because I knew I was going to use it for this. I'm just going to kind of blanch it or cook it for about 20 to 30 seconds in some boiling water. Going to drain it, and then this is going to get blended up with the tomato in just a minute. Moving on to blending this up, we've got some leftover cherry tomatoes on the vine that I took off the vine, and then that one Roma that I chopped up. This is going to get blitzed in my Nutra Ninja until that's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to add the spinach. So the spinach was blanched, drained, and then the water, as much as I could, squeezed out through a colander, like a sieve kind of thing. You can use a what do you call it, like a potato ricer is really good at that. I don't have one, but yeah, so all of that spinach is going in there. That's getting blitzed up until it is kind of chunky still. You could do it as a smooth puree if you like, but isn't that so pretty? It looks like a watermelon, like an upside down watermelon. But I'll show you the texture of what I did. So you saw it was just a few seconds, a few pulses that I did, but that's what that looks like, and that's how I'm going to cook mine. A little bit of texture to that still, so that's going to get set aside. Okay, now we're gonna start cooking the paneer. So this is the paneer that I sliced up. I'm using this stainless steel pan. I can never get this to work. You'd think it would just, with all that olive oil, it would just be so nonstick, but you'll see. I basically chucked these chunks of paneer because they stuck to the pan. I couldn't get them off. So luckily I did have that extra pound of paneer since I bought such a large block, and you'll see in a second I will switch to my skillet for a non-stick cooking experience. You can see I moved the other pan to the back, and these are not sticking at all. So this is what I had left from that first block. And I'm just going to flip this over. You want it nice and golden brown. I did get a little bit, I think I got a little bit overcooked on the first side, but no matter, it still tasted really good. You can see it got a little bit super toasty dark, but in any case, it worked out just fine. So I'm going to finish cooking up the paneer. This is more paneer that I had chopped up from that second block, half of the block. So I'm just going to finish this now. Just removing the paneer and setting it aside until we're ready to add it at the very end. I'm taking some butter and I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, and then I'm going to saute the onion and garlic. Going to be adding those delicious spices and other ingredients here. So that was ginger. You can use fresh ginger. I just happen to have the tube. Here are the spices. Recipe will be linked down below, but that's garam masala, cumin, turmeric. We have coriander, and I think a bit of cayenne pepper. Again, if I missed anything, it will be in the link below. Just warming those spices through just to get all of that aroma out of them and all the flavor. So once those are warmed through, I'm going to continue with the rest of the recipe now by adding the spinach and tomato mixture that I have blended up. You can see that's nice. I add some water here, and then I'm going to add a bit more water just to loosen it through here. Going to mix that thoroughly, let it simmer for a little bit, and then I'm going to add some salt to make sure it's got some flavor here, and mix that through. Give it a bit of a taste test. Also, incidentally, as a note, I did actually double the spices that the recipe called for the last time I made this. Excuse me, the last time I made this, I ended up doing the same thing, and so I remembered to double the ingredients for the spice mixture. So I'm just moving this through. You can see the colors change now from like a more vibrant green to kind of like a dull brownish green. Then I add some heavy cream here, and the paneer goes back in to warm through. That's pretty much it. The paneer is done. So yeah, it makes so much, you can see here, but such a delicious side dish to the chicken korma. So I'm just doing an easy chicken korma. I'm just using some korma sauce that I picked up at Aldi. You can see in the background I am using boneless, skinless chicken thighs. And there you go. That was our dinner here. So delicious. The Palak paneer turned out so good. And I served mine with cauliflower rice. You can obviously serve yours with basmati, which is what Rob did. So that's his. And Colin had some naan. And And lastly, I have a meatless dish for you this week. I am going to make shrimp and grits for the very first time in my entire life. So I am starting off prepping some ingredients for the shrimp. I have some pre-diced onions that I had left over from other dishes earlier in the week. And then I'm going to dice up some tomato here. This is just Roma tomato. This is another recipe I got off of YouTube, so I will link that original video below so you can get a better tutorial on how to make this, since again, this is the first time I'm making this ever. Although it did turn out really, really good, you might just want to watch the original video. That is the onions and tomato done. I am going to go to the stove now and prep the grits. I have never made grits. I was so intimidated, but I'm starting off with the liquid, so that's chicken bouillon with water, evaporated milk, and some milk, and some pepper. I think next time I will either omit the pepper or use less pepper. It was a little prominent. I just do a little test here to see if I need to add salt, and I think the salt from the bouillon is enough. So now I'm going to add in the grits. I think I probably should have whisked this while slowly adding the grits, since I did get a few clumps in mine at the end, so yes. But I think it turned out so delicious and so creamy. I have to tell you, this was a really good recipe. Now I added the butter. I'm adding a bit more evaporated milk. So I add a lot more evaporated milk as the grits cook, which is what the original recipe or the original video kind of mentioned, just kind of add more as you need it. So I added quite a lot actually. So I had moved it to the other burner so that I could saute the onions. Was there garlic? I don't remember. No garlic. Was there garlic? I think I did actually add garlic to it. So apologies. I do believe there is some garlic in there, and adding the tomatoes in here now just to cook those down, and then after which I'm going to add the shrimp. So here's that shrimp. I'm using jumbo shrimp from Aldi. We've got salt and pepper, and I'm adding the Sazon by Goya. This is the one in the orange packet. There are different ones, but that's the one I use because I think that's the one she used as well. So just making sure the onions and the tomato and garlic are nice and cooked. I'm gonna turn the heat down to a medium low because I don't want to overcook the shrimp, so because I don't want it to get rubbery. So basically add this. These are tail on, and I just mixed all the spices together. I think she put hers in a skillet. That would be really nice if you could get a nice char on it, but I just went ahead and cooked it this way, and they were so nice and tender and not rubbery at all. Now here are the grits, still on that super low heat. Again, I kept adding evaporated milk and milk as I needed to, and added some extra sharp cheddar cheese, and look how creamy. They were so creamy that Colin even said, I think these are better than one from a restaurant that we like to frequent here. So I was like, oh, really? Thank you so much. So I'm appreciative of this recipe. It was really tasty, and I tried my hardest not to eat a lot of it since I'm trying to still do low carb. Okay, flipping the shrimp here. Again, making sure those are nice and cooked through, but not tough and rubbery. And then once those are done, I sprinkle with some dry parsley. I'm adding some lemon juice to brighten everything up here. And those are pretty much ready to go, as are the grits. So in just a second, you'll see everything put together. I wanted to serve some veg, so again, I have some microwaved asparagus. And look at those cheesy grits and those shrimp, nice jumbo, and the tomatoes and onion. Oh my gosh, this was so delicious. Those grits are really rich though, I have to say, but so delicious. And of course, I'm ending this video with some pizza because this is what Colin had. So just as we started the video, we end with pizza and this beautiful shrimp and grits. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the recipes. Feel free to comment below, like the video, subscribe, and become part of our little community here. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.